Hi everyone, and welcome to Paper Wish's weekly webisodes. I'm Sarah Newman, and today I'm excited to share some fun techniques featuring products from our friends at Creative Expressions. We'll be looking at a lot of dies today, including some background designs like this basket weave, a herringbone, and a layered background in an ocean waves pattern. There's also a fun focal element here with the triple layer collection wildflower designs. There are also some sentiment dies. We've got For Someone Special. There's also Get Well Soon, as well as With Sympathy. Now, one more tool that I just had to sneak in is a really fun mini stencil in a crazy design. Now, to go along with all of these products, something so much fun, we've got 4 gorgeous colors of Luna Paste. These work beautifully in combination with stencils, as well as cutting dies. You can also just put them right onto your background paper for some gorgeous effects. There is so much to discover today and so much to learn about, so come play with us. Let's take a closer look at our 4 beautiful colors of Luna Paste. We have Stellar Aqua, Moonlight Pearl, Stellar Jade, and Moonlight Mist. Now you might be wondering, what is Luna Paste? Well, Luna Paste is a texture medium, and what's unique about it is that it has the paste plus flakes of mica, which make it shimmery. So you not only have the dimension of the paste, but you also have this beautiful soft shimmer and shine. It means that you can apply it in lots of different ways to your backgrounds and to your card focals. And in fact, in this video, I'm going to show you 5 different ways that you can apply Luna Paste to your cardstock for different effects. So let's start with the easiest one of all, which is a palette knife. So I'm going to move aside my swatches here and just bring in a piece of plain white cardstock. I'm going to bring in my Stellar Jade, and I also have my palette knife. Now you can see when I take off the lid and scoop out some of this Luna Paste that the consistency is really fantastic. So it's not drippy, it's not runny, it's got a nice body to it, which means that when I apply this onto my background cardstock, I am going to get peaks and valleys if I want to. I can also sort of smooth this on almost like I'm frosting a cake. And when this is dry, I could use this as a focal on my card front. I could even die cut this. So this is probably the very easiest way you can apply Luna Paste onto your cardstock. And I think it's a great way of just getting a beautiful, soft, shimmery piece. Now, if you're thinking, oh, well, actually, that would look great with a stencil too. You are absolutely right. So let me bring in another piece of cardstock with that crazy stencil on it. You might remember that. And once again, I'm going to get out my palette knife. And I'm going to put the lid back on my Stellar Jade, and let's bring in Stellar Aqua. Now you'll notice I've got my stencil taped down with a little bit of masking tape, and that's just to mask off the edges and also help to hold my stencil in place. So once again, I just need to scoop out some of my texture medium here and just apply this straight onto my stencil. Now, nothing is going to go to waste. You can always scrape back the excess and put it back into the jar. So I'm just going to be applying my medium right on here, making sure to get in all of those areas of that fun little stencil. And a little bit more, and make sure that I've got all of my areas here. Again, just smoothing this on almost as if I was frosting a cake. And then what I can do, once I've got this all in here, is sort of scrape off any excess and put it back into my jar. And then that way I'm not wasting any of that beautiful texture medium. But you can see how easily it goes on, and also the brilliant vibrance of that texture paste. Again, make sure I've got the lid on here, and then I'm going to pull off my masking tape and hold this down as I go, and I think you will love this result. Now, of course, I'm using the crazy stencil, but you're probably thinking of all the other stencils you have in your stash. This is going to be a great way to put them to use. Now, I'll just lift off my stencil gently, and you'll see the effect. This is absolutely beautiful. Nice, crisp lines, crisp dimension on here. Now, if you're wondering how this looks on other colors of cardstock, let's take a look. So again, I've got my Stellar Aqua, the one that we just looked at. This is it on white cardstock. This is that same stencil on black cardstock. So again, you can see that it looks absolutely beautiful on both. Here we've got the Moonlight Pearl, and we've got it on black and on white. And I have to say, at first I thought, why would I put white texture medium on white cardstock? But I really love this effect. I think that'd be really pretty for weddings. Here is the Stellar Jade, and you can see again on black and on white, really stunning effect. And our last is the Moonlight Mist, beautiful on the black and gorgeous on that white. So simply applying it with a palette knife, either directly onto your cardstock or through a stencil. Well, that's 2 techniques. Let's take a look at a few more. One way I love using Luna Paste is by making a watery medium and then painting it onto my cardstock. So here I've got a little bit of the Moonlight Pearl, that beautiful white Luna Paste, and I've just scooped it out with the palette knife and put it right onto my craft sheet. Now my craft sheet is going to be my palette, so this is what I'm working on. I'm going to add some water right next to my Luna Paste, and then I'm going to use my palette knife to make this watery medium. Now I really find that it works better to use the palette knife for this part of the process rather than trying to mix this with a brush. I just really found that the brush bristles got a bit too clumpy. So I use the palette knife for this, and I've got a nice, smooth, watery medium. Now what I'm going to do is grab my brush, and I'm going to get a little bit of water on here so I have a nice watery brush. Pick up some of that medium and then simply brush it onto my cardstock. Just take a look how beautiful that white is up against the black. I just think this is so stunning. And then I've got a beautiful background piece, and just take a look at the shine and the shimmer on this. Now this would be ideal for a background. I can also, once it's dry, I can use it for die cutting. And you'll see a lot of the projects that I show you later are going to use elements that have been die cut from painted pieces. Now if you're wondering how this looks on other colors of cardstock, I did this one with the same Moonlight Pearl on craft cardstock, and I think that also looks really beautiful. So you've got some options when you're working with this. Now, since I've got this watery medium on my craft sheet, I'm going to take advantage of this and again, pick up a little bit of this Luna Paste on my brush, really load this. Got a new piece of black cardstock here, and I'm just going to spatter this right onto the cardstock. So this is the 4th technique that I wanted to share with you, and this is a real favorite for using these mediums, because not only are you getting a beautiful background, this is kind of like a starry night effect, but you will also get the raised texture, of course, because it is a texture paste. So my bigger blobs here will have a bit of a raised look to them, and they will actually have some dimension. It depends on how much water you're adding to your medium as well. So take a look. I think this is just beautiful and gives a really pretty background. Again, you could also use this to die cut elements with, and you'll have some really beautiful card embellishments this way. Okay, so 2 more of our techniques. Now, I'm going to just kind of swoop up this excess Luna Paste. Of course, in real life, you know, I'd be using that for something, but I wanted to show you the 5th technique. And for this, I'm going to move aside my Starry Night and bring in just a plain piece of white cardstock. I also need to have my acrylic block, and this is just a 3x5 standard size clear acrylic block that you would normally put a stamp onto to stamp with. But instead, I'm going to be stamping with Luna Paste. So what I'll do here is grab, let's see, I'm going to be using the Stellar Jade, this really pretty color, and get a little bit of this off onto my palette knife, and I'm going to apply it directly onto this block. So I'm going to be using my block to stamp the texture paste onto my cardstock. So I'm just spreading this on here. Again, it's a little bit like frosting a cake. You can use as much or as little as you want. What this is going to do is give me a really cool raised effect and kind of an abstract background. So I'm going to take this block and just pop it down right in the center of my cardstock. And when I press this down, you can see the medium kind of squeezing out from under here. Hold on to that cardstock and lift this straight up and take a look. Not only do I have that beautiful color, I'm really able to take advantage of the texture paste part of the medium because then I've got some raised dimensional areas on here. Just such a beautiful effect. Now I could leave it like this, or I could go back, since I still have some on my block, and kind of keep stamping around on here just as much as I want to. So this is with the Stellar Jade. You can also get the same effect using, of course, the Stellar Aqua. And this is already dried, so I can feel the effect of that raised dimensional image. Here I've got the Moonlight Mist, that beautiful purple, and this is just a little bit. Now if I wanted to go back and add more, of course you can see here, I can get some different effects. So just a little bit and a little bit more. Every time you do this, you're going to get a different background. Now I also wanted to show you the Moonlight Pearl, and in this case I've done it on black cardstock. I think this looks just so pretty. And again, you can touch the dimension on here. And for this little strip, I actually kept going with that block and just kept stamping and stamping. And so I think this would be a really pretty snippet as the background of a card, or you could cut it into a strip and use it as a border. So that's how to use your acrylic block to create some really fun dimensional and abstract backgrounds. So far we've learned how to apply Luna Paste with a palette knife, through a stencil, by brushing it on, spattering, and stamping with an acrylic block. These are just 5 techniques for using Luna Paste, and I'm sure when you get your hands on yours, you are going to come up with even more ideas. So why don't we take a look at some card projects? Our first card project is using all 5 of those Luna Paste techniques all on one card. Probably the one that you're noticing the first is the stenciled area here. And this is, of course, combining the Stellar Aqua with our crazy mini stencil. And I just love how this creates such a fun focal area for my die cut sentiment. Now in the background, this is also some of the Moonlight Pearl Luna Paste that has been spattered onto black cardstock. This strip here going across the center of my card is more of the Stellar Aqua. That's been applied onto white cardstock using a palette knife. Now let's talk about the cutting dies that I've used on here. I've got the For Someone Special, and this has just been die cut from black cardstock, also from white cardstock, and I've layered those two slightly offset to create a shadow effect. Let's look at the floral area over here. This is using the triple layer wildflower die. I love this die, and in fact I loved it so much that I've used it on every one of my card projects today, so you'll see it in lots of different varieties. But I wanted to show you the die itself and how to do the layering. So let me bring in the package here, and you can see you've got 2 flower sizes. So you have a large and a small. The large is about 2 inches wide, and the small is about 1.5 inches, or 1.75 inches. You also have a small leaf and a larger leaf, and you can mix and match these as you choose. On the inside of the packaging, you've got project ideas from Creative Expressions, which is also really nice. Now the dies themselves, let's take a look here. You've got 4 for each of the flowers. So you're going to have the large, which is what I'm showing you here, and then the same setup for the smaller flower. You're going to start with your silhouette and simply die cut that from whatever cardstock you want. Now when it comes time to use the middle 2 layers, what you'll do is nest these inside of the silhouette design. Secure them to your cardstock with a little bit of low-tack tape, maybe some masking tape or washi tape, and then run them through your die cutting machine. This is the thicker middle layer, and that's going to give you a piece that looks like this. For the detail layer, you're going to run it through, again, simply pop it into the center of your silhouette, run it through your die cutting machine, and then you will end up with a piece that looks like this. For your flower center, all you need to do, again, just run it through like so. And then you can mix and match these. You can use any of these singly or combine any 2 of them together if you want to, but they're meant to be stacked and layered all together onto that silhouette base. So those are the 3, and then adding your flower center right in the middle there. And then you have your layered flower. Of course, you also have leaves. So here is the large leaf. Again, you've got the silhouette, you've got the thicker middle, and you have the thinner detail area. So again, Simply die cut your base piece, your middle piece. Let's pop that on there. And then your center, like so. And then you've got a triple layer leaf and a triple layer flower with the floral center on here. It is so much fun, easy to do, and great to die cut, as I've done here, from any of your spattered backgrounds or your painted Luna paste backgrounds as well. So let me show you once again that card, and you can see that I've used this kind of stacking and layering with some foam tape and also sort of offsetting some of these pieces here too. Now our second card project also uses some of the flowers, and in fact I've used the large and the small, mixing and matching those leaf sizes as well. On my background, this is Moonlight Mist that has been painted onto white cardstock, and it creates a really beautiful pearlescent, really luminescent background. I have the With Sympathy die here. Now this is one that really comes in handy. It's not our favorite card subject to make, but very often we need to have sympathy motifs on hand, especially sometimes at the last minute. So it's great to have this, have something so beautiful to put to use if you need to. And I've got this layered up onto a couple of different layers of cardstock. Now, you may be wondering about this border element here. This is one of the background dies, and this is the herringbone. So let me bring this in. Now, when you're looking at background dies, very often we think, okay, I have to use it as a background, but not necessarily. You can also cut it apart. In this case, they've shown you some examples of just that, which is where I got my inspiration, and that comes in the packaging. So this die is a big one. This is 4 3/4 by 6 inches, so it's perfect for the front of your card. Now what you can do is die cut it as a big piece and then also cut it into strips. And I just ran this through my paper cutter. So this is from white. I've got another piece done from purple. So you can layer these up together if you want to create a shadow effect. You can also simply offset them so that you have a lattice look too. And that's what I've done on the front of my card here. So you can see I've got that border on here. It's just perfect for my flowers. And I've stacked these up onto some foam tape as well. So that's our second card. Let's look at another card here. This one again uses some background dies. This is the Ocean Waves, and I've done this from a Stellar Aqua and Stellar Jade piece of cardstock. So the Stellar Aqua has been painted onto the background here. And then I've also painted it onto a piece of cardstock that I have die cut. You're also noticing the spattered background on here. I've also used the spattered background to die cut some of my flowers. Let's take a look at the centerpiece of our die here. And this is the Ocean Wave. So it's coming in 2 pieces. These are 4.5 by 3 1/4. You can use either one of them by themselves, but of course they are meant to be used together. So you're going to end up with 2 pieces that are the same size, and you'll just stack one right on top of the other, glue them together, and away you go. Now I'm going to put this onto a piece of teal cardstock so you can see the contrast here. What I love about this is that you can use this as a high contrast background, as I've done here, or something very soft and subtle, as I've done on this card project. It just makes a really beautiful background, and that's with the Ocean Waves. Now our last and final card project, this one you'll notice, this has got our acrylic block background on here. If you were wondering how elements would glue on top of that, I've got a die cut piece. This is the Get Well Soon die, mounted up onto a couple of different layers of cardstock, and I've adhered this with double-sided tape, and it's on there pretty well. So I haven't had any issues with that gluing down onto a textured background. Now this element here is another one of our background dies, and this one is the basket weave. And the basket weave is 5 inches square. Again, with this, you're going to have some project ideas from Creative Expressions. This die gives you not only the cutting element, it also does embossing. So you're going to have a beautiful effect here with lots of texture and dimension. Let me put a little piece of black cardstock behind here. What really surprised me, now this is Moonlight Mist painted background paper that has been die cut. Nothing has chipped off. Nothing is edging off. I don't have any flakes coming off. This is such fantastic quality of product that it's able to give me a die cut and embossed piece. It almost looks like metal. I absolutely love this. And again, you can use it as a background. You can also cut it apart if you wish. So again, here is that card. Once again, I've got the background on here. Now this is Moonlight Pearl that has been added onto black cardstock with a palette knife, just kind of here and there around the edges. And then I've added that floral accent on here as well. And I've combined this with the Stellar Aqua. And then, of course, that Moonlight Mist for my flower. So this is how you can use your Luna Paste, as well as your Creative Expressions cutting dies and your stencils to create some really fun card designs. There are a lot of great things you can do with these products, and I can't wait to see what you come up with. Thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you for being a part of the Paper Wishes family. We're really glad you're here with us. Be sure and leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear what you think about these products and about the techniques and how you plan to use them. Each of the items that I'm showing today can be purchased separately, and you can see those down below. However, we've also bundled them into a creative money saver just for you. For that money saver, please see this webisode on paperwishes.com.